to say you gotta know somebody, oh, know somebody to get somewhere these days.
Good afternoon. Get ready for Addicted to Real Estate Radio. I'm Phil Falcone with my co-host Jeremy Ricci and Larry Steinhaus here on WWDB 860 AM every Thursday from 3 to 4. If you want to ask us a question or you have a real estate need, give us a call at 267-988-2000.
You can also email in questions to questions@addicted2realestate.com. It's questions@addicted2realestate.com.
Okay, so who are we at Addicted to Real Estate? Well, we're real estate investors, full-time real estate investors, and we're addicted to this business because we really love it, all right? And you're going to learn a lot if you listen to our show. We're going to teach you a lot of amazing things about how to buy commercial real estate, how to buy houses with none of your own money, and hundreds of other things in this business that are really going to be rewarding for you. We also own an agency, Addicted to Real Estate Agency, for you realtors out there that like to bridge the gap between being a realtor and being a real estate investor. We can help you out with that. We have 3 offices, one in Montgomeryville, one in Hatboro, and our newest office in Huntington Valley. You can check us out at addictedtorealestate.com. So how's everybody doing today?
I'm doing awesome, man. I recovered from my trip last week, and this is just really nice.
Welcome back.
The weather was a little cold this week, but it's all right.
Yeah, Larry was building houses in where? Nicaragua?
Nicaragua, yeah. No, it's interesting. Sure enough, I came across a real estate deal while I was there.
Well, we're going to have to hear about that, I personally am not looking to expand my portfolio into Nicaragua, but you could talk me into it.
Costa Rica would be nice.
Yeah, now, that might be a place I'm interested in. Costa Rica with some beachfront property. So, Jeremy, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, as always, we have some questions that people emailed in. We just this last week we had a little scare down in Sarasota. So somebody asked, "Hey, did the Sarasota tornado affect your property down there?" And we'll talk about that. What's better, working as a realtor or working as an investor? That's another question that was asked. And what's the best way to get rich investing in real estate? Is it flips? Is it buy and holds? So we'll cover that as well. Our focus today is on how to buy houses with none of your own money, part 2. We're going to cover, we talked a little bit about private money last week, and we're going to continue that because I think there's a lot more that we can dive into on private money and raising private money, using other people's money to buy houses.
I was in a really good mood today until you brought up that twister that hit Sarasota. That's scary stuff, man. I don't know if I want to talk about that. I like the question about being a realtor or being an investor. There is definitely a perception out there that there's a conflict with those two things, and I don't understand that at all. So we're definitely going to talk about that. That's a great question. And what is the best way to get rich investing? Well, isn't that what we're all in the real estate business for? To get rich, baby, to get rich. Okay, so you're listening to Addicted to Real Estate Radio, and we'll be right back. Hi, my name's Phil Falcone. I wrote a book called Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And if you'd love to see an investment book written by a Philadelphian about investing in Philadelphia, I'm your man. You can check out my book at addicted2realestate.com with the number 2. I have a free web TV show there. I have free investment forms for real estate investors. And I have my book that you can check out, Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And the website is addicted2realestate with the number 2.com.
As a real estate agent, you know that most people buy a house once every 7 years. Imagine working with clients that buy 7 houses every year. At Addicted to Real Estate, they teach you how to work with investors because they are investors. Located in Montgomeryville, Hatboro, and Huntington Valley, they pay 90% commission. Work at an agency built for investors, by investors, and finally learn how to invest yourself. Addicted to Real Estate Agency. Call them now, 215-321-SELL. 215-321-SELL.
I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. Do you have a voicemail machine answering your business calls during the day? Oh, please tell me it's not true. I have an answering service for you that only costs $99 a month. We're real humans. That's right, we have live humans answering the phone in the name of your company and patching the calls to you for only $99 a month. And there are no contracts, so you can try it out anytime you like and cancel it whenever you like. Executech Suites, 215-942-7701. I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. I got a question for you. What do you get for $4.95 a month at Executech Suites? You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone number. You get the fax number. You get the internet. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you, whether you're in the office, in your car, or at home sleeping on a couch. You get the conference rooms. You get the mailboxes. You get the printer, the copier, the scanner. You get the janitorial service, the utilities, and free coffee. I know it's hard to believe that you could get all those things for $495 a month, but it's true. 67 Buckle Road in Huntington Valley, Executech Suites. Give us a call, 215-942-7701, 215-942-7701. It's Real Estate Radio. So let's go right to our questions. We had a great question that was emailed in to us this week. Last weekend, there was a twister that hit Sarasota, and a lot of people were concerned because they know that we invest an awful lot in Sarasota. We have a bunch of vacation rentals down there. And since we're on the topic, you can check it out at gosiesta.com. So I'll tell you what, my phone was ringing off the wall last weekend because the funny part was a lot of people who had rented the properties, and of course with winter coming up, there's a ton of people who are coming to all of our properties down there. They were all calling me up saying, is the house okay? Is the house okay? None of them asked if I was okay. Right? Not a single person. You'd think, it would have been nice because I live in Philadelphia, but the perception from a lot of people who rent our properties is that I live down there. They think that I live down there, and I don't. I'm just a property manager for the properties that we own down there. And it was pretty funny. But, Jeremy, you did a lot of research on what exactly happened with that twister. Tell everybody how close it came.
I was a little worried, but, there was nothing to be worried about. It was only a half a mile away. It was a half a mile away, so,
That's pretty close.
Yeah,
that's really close. And how many houses did it destroy?
I don't know how many it was. There was one that they showed that was right across the intercoastal that was just demolished. It was... There's this term that they use in Florida that we really don't use up here in Pennsylvania, but the difference between a block construction home and a stick-built home. And this was a stick-built home, built of timber construction, that the second floor of this place was totally leveled, cracked up some cars. Now, just south of us on Siesta Key, where our vacation rentals are, there was some condos that had... the roofing and the fascia and some of the soffits were all laying all over the place. These condos, like a tin can, it just peeled these things up like a can of sardines. So it was pretty scary. I mean, I was looking, usually you don't hear of tornadoes in Sarasota or in Florida for that matter. You're thinking like Oklahoma or Kansas. So I wanted to send our handyman over with some red glimmery slippers to check out what was going on.
Well, I watched a video online, and the one house that really got torn apart, that's probably about a $2 million property, because I've looked at those properties on the peninsula there, right by Hollywood Boulevard, and that's about a $2 million house. And then it looked like it was really weird. It tore one house apart, and the next 3 houses, it sort of just took the gutters off and some shingles. So,
it was right on the water, or if you're from Philadelphia, right on the wooder.
Wooder, yeah. Wooder, Wooder. I had that problem when I was golfing in Boston once. I hit a ball into the pond, and the guy I was with said, "Where'd it go?" I said, "It went into the Wooder." He goes, "What?" He had no idea what I was talking about. The water? Yeah, okay. So,
just a little Philly joke, All
right, so our properties are in good shape. And even though it came within 6 blocks, we're good. So that's the
thing about tornadoes. They're very pinpoint accurate when they hit,
Well, I heard that the tornado was coming, and it heard that that Phil Falcone owned those properties, and it said, I'm not going to go in that neighborhood.
Well, I don't come from that tough of a neighborhood. I grew up in Northeast Philly, so I don't know why they would be afraid, but it's possible. You never know. People's perceptions of you, you have no control over. They decide it for themselves.
Well, this is the tornado's perception of you, so
So, we can talk about vacation rentals a little bit. I mean, one of the things that we do with these houses in Florida, we went down there in 2012 when the market was, ripe for buying. And timing in the real estate business is everything. Timing is everything. Probably in life, timing is everything as well. And we went down there and we bought a bunch of properties and we fixed them up. And instead of just renting them to an annual tenant, which I've been doing my whole life, and quite frankly, I like to be in businesses that own what I call extreme cash flows, something that gives you a much better cash flow than just a traditional renting out a property and getting your $200 a month in profit. Not that there's anything wrong with that philosophy, but as a 26-year full-time real estate investor, I hold myself to a higher standard. I don't want to just make $200 a month off of a property. I want to make more. And in the vacation rental business, you put in some furniture, let's say $7,000 worth of furniture into a 700 square foot property with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. We're not talking about anything real extravagant here. And once you do that, people will pay you outrageous amounts of money to get out of the cold. And we love the vacation rental business. You get paid 100% of the money up front before anybody ever even sets foot inside your property. So they check it out online, they look at the pictures, they agree to book it, and they wire you 100% of the money, which just gets shot right into my bank account. So every morning I wake up to an email that says, "You've got money." And it's a wonderful business. We love it.
And the value-added real estate, like you were saying, having these ultra profit generators. The student rentals is one example. I know a lot of people in Philadelphia use like the student housing as a way to do that, where they furnish a house and they rent it to students, chop it up by the bedroom instead of renting it as the whole house. And then of course, your Executech suites, where you have the office furnished offices. That really is another example of that. It's a great example.
Did you mention Executech Suites?
We'll mention it again a couple times on the commercial breaks too.
Yeah, I happen to be in the business of renting out fully furnished offices, and it's also a wonderful business. It gives you extreme cash flow. I'd say the 3 best extreme cash flow generators are student rentals, vacation rentals, and executive suite centers. I'm in 2 out of 3. I don't have any student rentals, but not that I didn't want to. I just don't have any. I can't be everywhere all the time.
It's almost like the opposite of triple net leases, right? I mean, because in a triple net lease, you have the tenant paying for your taxes, they're paying for your utilities, paying for all that stuff. In this case, we're paying for all that, but we're getting a real bumped up cash flow for doing that. So we're paying for the cable bill, we're paying for the electric bill, but it works out really well.
Yeah, it's different businesses, but they all have their advantages and their disadvantages. One of the advantages about the vacation rental business, which I never thought of until after I was in it, was I hate winter. I've always hated winter, okay? So when it snows, I used to be upset, and I'd get even semi-depressed sometimes when the weather was terrible and freezing outside. Until I was in the vacation rental business, because the worse the weather is, the more my phone rings. And the funniest part about it is people book properties in May sometimes. They're just like, I got to get out of this weather. And they go, what do you have available? I said, well, this property's available in April or it's in May. And then they book it. And I'm like, gee, it's not even going to be cold in April or May. But, it says the cold weather makes people get on the phone and book something because they want to hit the beach. #1 rated beach in the United States, Siesta Key, if you haven't heard of it. Better in Hawaii, better in California. Check it out at GoSiesta.com. So, Larry, what's our next question?
So this question is, what is better, working as a realtor or an investor? And I love this question because I started out, as you guys know, as a real estate investor myself, as we all did, right? So I'm 18 years old. I bought my first property, and we can go through all that later. But I decided a couple of years later or a few years later to become a real estate agent. And I found that as a real estate agent, first of all, you have access to the MLS. I mean, it was always nice to work with real estate agents, and without insulting real estate agents, a lot of real estate agents don't understand investors. I could just imagine, if you're an investor, if you've dealt with real estate agents and you're trying to figure out what a good deal is out there, and you're at their mercy because of the MLS access that they've given you, or maybe they're sending you properties. Now, if you have your own MLS access, you can do your own searches. You could do specific searches. You could do search word searches, all kinds of neat stuff that your real estate agent may not know how to do, but even more importantly, may not have the time to do. He's busy showing somebody a $750,000 McMansion, and your $100,000 property just isn't important to them. Well, actually, just on a tangent, at Addicted to Real Estate, we actually teach people who are real estate agents to sell several properties to the same client. I always tell people it's easier to keep one client than it is to create new ones. So basically, going back to that, once you become a real estate agent, you have access to the MLS, you can do different things, and you can also maybe have a deal that you really like that you just can't do, and you can make a commission giving it to one of your friends. So imagine helping your friend invest in real estate because you decided the deal wasn't good for you, or maybe it wasn't good timing for you, and making a commission off of that deal. It's fantastic to become a real estate agent and an investor.
You know what else is nice is when let's say somebody calls you for a potential acquisition where you're going to buy a property as an investment property. You know, a lot of people with some of the popular websites that are out there for looking at properties. I mean, obviously, there's a ton of websites out there that will show you listed properties, the ones that are on the market. It'll show you the pictures inside. But I get calls frequently for properties that aren't listed on the market, and they're calling me because they want me to buy their house. If you have access to the MLS, you can look at previous listings. So let's say it was 5 years ago that it was last listed. You can see the interior photos from the last listing and get a better idea right then and there of what you're looking at when the person calls you on the phone. So that's another added bonus, not to mention all the ones that you talked about, and the public records access, which the MLS actually aggregates a lot of data from the public records and gives it to you in a nice snapshot.
Right. In fact, there's sometimes where I've gone out to talk to somebody, or somebody calls me on the phone in response to a marketing piece, which I think we're going to talk about later. Marketing, right?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Yeah. In response to a marketing piece that I may have sent out, and they tell me that they have a house for sale, and we start to talk, and I start to get more information out of them. But I'll go onto the public records, and I realize that it's them and 2 or 3 other owners, or it's an LLC, and then right away I realize I may not be talking to the actual decision maker, and a lot of the things that I may be saying may not be helpful at the time. And I may say, hey, let's have a meeting with all the decision makers, or your wife, because you know how men are. We can't do anything without our wife's permission. So yeah, the MLS access and the public records is great to have.
And we have Steve Sibley in the radio station again today, and he actually did a training on the new MLS system. Our MLS provider in the Philadelphia area just recently switched systems, and man, the amount of data you can access. You did a great job, Steve, by the way.
So, which one is better, though? Is it better to be a realtor or better to be an investor? I'll throw in my 2 cents. I think there's a lot more money to be made as an investor.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There's a lot more money to be made being the owner of real estate. And I'm definitely a buy and hold kind of a guy. But we do flips and various different things in the real estate business when we need money. After all, I haven't had a job for a long time, and I do have a wife and kid that need to be fed. So we have to make money. We all have to make money. And a huge portion of the funds that I need in life comes from my existing portfolio. But if I need what I like to call chunky money, if I need a nice check coming in, I go out and do a flip or a wholesale deal or some kind of real estate deal. And also, having a license does bring income to me because I can work with clients, although I usually don't do that. I usually just use my license for my own personal benefit because I do so many real estate deals, it makes a lot of sense. Would you guys both agree that being an investor is more lucrative than being a realtor?
Oh, by far. By far I make more money as an investor. Plus, it's long-term income. Real estate, as a real estate agent, sometimes you go dry. You could do as much marketing as you want. Maybe you have a dry month. But as a real estate investor, I know that I'm getting a rent check every month.
Yeah, this ties right into the next question about, is it better investing in real estate as a landlord or is it better to do flips? Yeah. And I think that's a personal question for everyone, but it speaks to the same result, which is, do you want to have long-term passive wealth and passive income, or do you want to trade your dollars for hours? As a realtor, you're showing people houses. Every time you do a deal, it takes effort to get to that next paycheck or that commission check. Every time, if you're doing a flip, it's the same thing. Every time you need to go make money, you have to go find another flip and go through the process of managing the rehab. Whether you're doing the rehab yourself or not, you're managing the rehab, and that's really active income. So when you buy a rental property, it's passive. Not only does the thing build up in value and your loan pays down, but you also are getting positive cash flow. Hopefully, if you put the right tenant in there, you get positive cash flow, and it's mailbox money. It comes to you every month in the mail, and all the other benefits, tax benefits,
Yeah, some of my favorite deals are the ones I buy with tenants already in there. So I just literally pay a check to buy the property, and then I get a check the next month, and my income starts to come in right away.
Yeah, I got a great story about that we'll talk about sometime. But, the third question was, what's the best way to get rich investing? Is it flips? Okay? And I think that, if all you're interested in doing is earning income and you're not necessarily interested in building wealth, well, flips will probably achieve that result for you. So will wholesaling. But, the thing about the flips is at the end of the year, you're not really any richer per se than you were at the beginning of the year. And I'm basing that on what's your net worth. I'm not basing it on how much you earned. Because regardless of how much you earn, there's somebody called the government who comes in and makes sure they take a nice big chunk out of it. So one thing I wanted to talk about was when most realtors, if you actually ask them, most of realtors will tell you that they got into the business for the purpose of learning about real estate investing. But that's not what happens after they're in it for a while. What happens is they tend to just learn how to become realtors, and they kind of forget about that investing thing. And it's funny. That's what we do at Addicted to Real Estate. We like to bridge the gap between realtors and investors. So if that sounds like you, if you're a realtor out there listening to the show and you're the person who got into the business because you wanted to learn about investing, but instead you kind of became a full-time realtor, then you want to give us a call at Addicted to Real Estate at 267-988-2000, and we could help you bridge the gap to learning about investing again, which is what you really wanted to do in the beginning. So that was a nice talk, guys. You are listening to Addicted to Real Estate Radio, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name's Phil Falcone. I wrote a book called Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And if you'd love to see an investment book written by a Philadelphian about investing in Philadelphia, I'm your man. You can check out my book at addicted2realestate.com with the number 2. I have a free web TV show there. I have free investment forums for real estate investors, and I have my book that you can check out, Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start, and the website is addicted2realestate with the number 2.com.
As a real estate agent, you know that most people buy a house once every 7 years. Imagine working with clients that buy 7 houses every year. At Addicted to Real Estate, they teach you how to work with investors because they are investors. Located in Montgomeryville, Hatboro, and Huntington Valley, they pay 90% commission. Work at an agency built for investors, by investors, and finally learn how to invest yourself. Addicted to Real Estate Agency. Call them now, 215-321-SELL. 215-321-SELL.
I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. Do you have a voicemail machine answering your business calls during the day? Oh, please tell me it's not true. I have an answering service for you that only costs $99 a month. We're real humans. That's right, we have live humans answering the phone in the name of your company and patching the calls to you for only $99 a month. And there are no contracts, so you can try it out anytime you like and cancel it whenever you like. Executech Suites, 215-942-7701. I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. I got a question for you. What do you get for $4.95 a month at Executech Suites? You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone number. You get the fax number. You get the internet. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you, whether you're in the office, in your car, or at home sleeping on a couch. You get the conference rooms. You get the mailboxes. You get the printer, the copier, the scanner. You get the janitorial service, the utilities, and free coffee. I know it's hard to believe that you could get all those things for $495 a month, but it's true. 67 Buck Road in Huntington Valley, Executech Suites. Give us a call, 215-942-7701, 215-942-7701.
Hi guys, welcome to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. We're back here and we're coming back with our topic of the day. This is Jeremy Ricci, and today's topic is how to buy houses with none of your own money. Part 2, we're going to talk about seller financing. We're going to talk about private money a bit. Private money is one of the pillars, one of the ways that we often buy houses. It's really great, even if you have $1 million in the bank and you go to buy some $100,000 houses, if you buy 10 of them, you're out of the market, right? Once you buy 10 houses, you have $1 million, you're done.
Hey, Jeremy, what is private money?
private money is other people's money. It's we don't use banks to go to. We don't go to banks when we go to borrow money. We go to humans, not institutions. These are individuals that have money. They're looking for a good return on it. And unlike hard money, it's a little softer. You know,
are you saying banks
points.
aren't human?
So Jeremy, when I was a young real estate investor, of course I used my own money. I used banks. And I used to always hear this on the late night television commercials: OPM, 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 other people's money, other people's money, other people's money. And I was like, come on, this is a joke. You can't really do this. Who would give you their money? Why would somebody give you money on a real estate investment? So tell me why they do it.
Well, think of it this way. What's their alternative? You have the stock market, which is a roller coaster ride. I know,
Don't remind me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that put their money in the stock market, and they're nervous about it. They watch it every day. It's a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down. And then you also have another end of the spectrum is people that try to save their money, and they stick it into a CD. Has anybody looked at CD rates? I mean, you almost, how many decimal places do you need to show today's current CD rates? So 0.001, I don't know what they are, but they're definitely not. But
0.001... or my mattress is safer than real estate. Isn't that what they say?
It certainly is safer, sort of. If you factor in inflation, it's not, because if the rate of inflation is higher than the rate that you're investing your money, by sticking it under the mattress or sticking it to a CD, you're actually losing purchasing power every single month because your money's not keeping up with inflation. So inflation is real, right? So
absolutely. And of course, I'm being a little silly. I get other people's money as well now that I've learned how to do it. And actually, I have to thank you guys. Honestly, I had never worked with other people's money until I actually met you guys. So you're actually listening to people who really know what they're doing on how to get other people's money. And continue, Jeremy. I just had to say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get lines of credit with a bank, and let's say you put a line of credit against your personal residence, or you get an unsecured line of credit for your business. Certainly that's cheap money. It's cash on hip that you can go make a purchase. But if you want something longer term, you either need to refinance the money out with the bank, or, part of this game is striking when the iron's hot. If you find a good deal, it's not going to wait around. So the difference between humans and institutions is that humans can make a decision. Right. I can call somebody. I've raised private money with a text message where I basically said, I have a deal. It's worth $300,000. I can get it for $220,000. And, would you put up the money? And I had private investors that text me back and they said, sure. When do you need it? I'll get the paperwork together, or we get the paperwork together. However that goes down. But it's pretty simple. I mean, most people understand investing in real estate as far as being a private lender. It's a house. They probably own one. They probably had a lien against their house by a mortgage company before, so they understand I gotta have a mortgage signed by the homeowner, and I have a promissory note signed by the borrower, which is typically the same person. And you're making a promise to pay somebody on a promissory note, and you give them a lien against your house, which is a mortgage. And that's how simple it is. Most people understand houses. They've probably lived in one. So when we go to these private individuals for money, they're often thrilled. We're giving them a decent rate of return. It's maybe a little bit more than we would pay a bank, but a lot less than hard money. If we're going to a hard money lender that's going to charge you, 3 points and 12 to 15%, we're paying less than that. But it's really the ability to make decisions on property. Now, the other thing, if let's say you're borrowing $100,000 from a bank, you're buying a property that's worth $100,000, and you get a really good deal on the property, and you're going to get it for $75,000. You're getting 25% off of that property. If you go to a bank, they're going to give you 80% of your purchase price or the appraised value, whichever's less. The whichever's less is the part that I don't like. Because let's say you get that $75,000 property for $25,000. You get 75% off. The bank's still going to say, we'll only give you 80% of that purchase price. And to me, that's nuts. You actually get penalized for getting a good deal.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with banks in general, that they don't give you, the investor, credit for making an amazing deal. And I don't think that they understand that as investors, we spend our entire lives learning how to make amazing deals, fine-tuning everything that we need to do and be able to learn so that we can find and make amazing deals. And then when we do it, we don't get any credit from the bank for doing it. All they want to know is what's the sale price and what are they, and how much money are we going to put down? You know?
So when you're looking to raise private money, you need to give the private lender some assurances, and they need to know that, like you said, Larry, they want to know, is it safer to put this, in my under my mattress? Well, yeah, sure it is, but there's certain protections that we give the private lenders that if you're raising money, you should give too. One of them is a lien against the property. The other thing that people get is insurance to know that it's a good lien. So just like you buy title insurance as a homeowner to ensure that you have free and clear, or you have clear title, the private lenders get a lender's policy. The lender's policy ensures that they have a good first position lien against the property. So that title insurance, to make sure that they have a good lender's first position lien, is one form of security that they have. The other form of security, we were talking about the Sarasota twisters that happened earlier last weekend. The other form is hazard insurance. Hazard insurance protects your property in case something happens to it. And if you're a lender lending on a property, certainly the big banks will want the same thing. They want to be named as an additional insured on your title, or I'm sorry, on your hazard insurance policy, so that if the house comes falling down, that there's money there that'll reimburse that for insurance.
Plus, they get notified in case you cancel the insurance.
Sure, they get notification, and they want to make sure that they're additional insured on your insurance policy, and they get notification that they have a valid. Obviously they want an insurance policy that's greater than the amount of money that they lent. So that's what they do. We give them that, and it's one more added bit of security that they can have. That if there's an insurance claim, the house burns down, that insurance claim check that gets written not only to the homeowner, but it gets also written to the lender that's on record, and both parties have to sign that check in order to cash it and make sure that the funds are appropriately applied. So that's a bit of security that they get. So
if you guys both agree that keeping money in a mattress is better than real estate, then I'd like to just put my phone number out there. If there are any cat burglars out there, call me, Phil Falcone, 267-988-2000. Maybe we could talk about a couple of deals I got coming up.
You're going to try to offer to buy people's mattresses? Is that what it is?
No, I know where both you guys live. And I know you guys got money, so.
And how did we get that money? Well, anyway.
Yeah. So back to the point I was talking about. If you had $1 million in the bank and you buy $100,000 houses, or let's say $250,000 houses, which is probably the median in the Philadelphia area, $250,000 house, $250,000 house is the median price. You buy 4 of those houses and you're done. So you need to have other ways to do perpetual deals, and private money is one of those ways that we often use. If you're it's a great way to get started. I started with family members, actually. I borrowed money. My first deal, I remember I had to scrounge around and borrow like $25,000. So I borrowed part of the money from a family member, and I did cash advance checks on my credit cards in order to buy my first house. I had to buy it in a hurry. It was an awesome deal. So I did that, and then, as you pay back these private investors, you earn their trust, and then they might recommend you to other people because they've made money with you, and they say, look, I don't have any more money, but I have a friend here, Larry, and Larry's got some money, and he might be interested, so why don't you give Larry a call? So it's
my interest
neat.
rate is way too high.
Yeah, right. So it's kind of neat how that comes about, how you can leverage relationships. You do good business, and you help people out. You help people get to their goal. I look at the same thing with sellers as I do private lenders. You ask somebody what their goals are, and you figure out a way to help them get to their goals. And at the same time, it helps you get to yours. So if you can create that kind of a win-win, somebody's getting a good return on their money, and you're able to buy a house that's got a big chunk of equity built into it, that's a win-win.
And it's the deal. It's the deal that makes the difference. If you show somebody it's a good deal, I mean, I had one. I was going to buy it cash, and I was telling somebody about the deal, and they go, wait. Let me lend you money on that deal. It was the complete opposite of what you think. You think it's hard. It was so easy that all I did was put the deal out there, and people ran to me to give me money for the deal because it was such a good deal.
Well, one of the things that I tell people when I'm explaining to them about private money is I say, okay, go to downtown Sarasota, which happens to be a town I spend a lot of time in, and one of the most beautiful and well-positioned skyscrapers in downtown Sarasota is owned by Chase, okay? So it's owned by a bank. And I think you'll find that in almost any downtown, some of the most expensive, most beautiful properties out there in skyscrapers are owned by banks. Now, I don't have to be a genius to figure out that maybe the business they're in is pretty lucrative. And what do banks do? It's the same as private lenders. They lend out money secured against a piece of real estate. They collect the monthly payments, and they build wealth that way. And it's an amazing business and very simple concept to understand.
The one thing that hadn't occurred to me that one of our private lenders did was they actually took out a line of credit on their primary residence because they had a big chunk of equity in their primary residence, and they, similar to what banks do, they borrowed money from at prime interest rates. Prime right now, it just went up a little bit, but it was 3.25% at the time, and now what is it, 3.5%? And what they did was they borrowed money at 3.25%, and they lent it out to us at a higher rate and made the split. They made that arbitrage. So that was pretty interesting because if you think about it, that's what banks do. They get depositors to put money into the bank, and then they lend out that money at a higher rate. So they're making that arbitrage. I love that word, arbitrage. Yeah. So the other thing that I didn't talk about, which is obviously the most, which to me is the thing that gives the private lenders the most security, is making sure that there's a cushion of equity above their loan. So private investors need to know that even if the market comes down, there's a big enough cushion of equity that they'll get their principal back and they won't get hurt. And that's really pretty obvious, but the amount of the loan they're giving, the real estate is worth much more than the loan that they're putting forth. And that's another piece of security.
Well, the real estate that the private lender is lending on is really important. What else is really important is that the investor that is going to be owning and managing that property. Like, you want to lend your money to an investor who, say, is an author of a book, or who's been in the business for 26 years, or maybe he has a radio show, or maybe he has a YouTube channel called Addicted to Real Estate TV. You want to be involved with people who love the business, who are addicted to it.
Well, I think the real estate, the asset and the people are both equally important. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking to raise money from private investors, you need to go to people that already know you, like you, and trust you. They want to do business with you. And those are the folks that are going to be comfortable lending with you, and they also need to be comfortable with the asset.
And if every deal is a win-win situation, winner for the lender, winner for the investor, it's going to be good. If you're doing this to hurt someone or you're not sure, ask for advice before you go borrowing someone's money, because the last thing you want to do is, especially with a family member, become enemies for the rest of your lives.
There's a great book out there. It's called The Banker's Code. It's written by a guy named George Anton, and it's basically a very easy-to-read book about the concept of private money. And I often tell people to read it when they want to learn more about it before they get involved.
The other thing that is very interesting that came up is September of 2014, they just released a prohibition that has been out there since 1933, since the Great Depression. But since 1933, there was a prohibition against generally soliciting for funds. You can now generally solicit for funds. Now, there's caveats. The people you borrow money from have to be accredited investors. They have to have $1 million or more of net worth. But if you look up the Jobs Act on Google, the Jobs Act, it'll tell you all about that. And it's a great way to...
And you'll help them, too. They can call you and ask you, right?
Sure. So we'll be right back, guys. We're going to take another break here and come back on Addicted to Real Estate Radio here on WWDB 860 AM.
Hi, my name's Phil Falcone. I wrote a book called Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And if you'd love to see an investment book written by a Philadelphian about investing in Philadelphia, I'm your man. You can check out my book at addicted2realestate.com with the number 2. I have a free web TV show there. I have free investment forums for real estate investors. And I have my book that you can check out, Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And the website is addicted2realestate with the number 2.com.
As a real estate agent, you know that most people buy a house once every 7 years. Imagine working with clients that buy 7 houses every year. At Addicted to Real Estate, they teach you how to work with investors because they are investors. Located in Montgomeryville, Hatboro, and Huntington Valley, they pay 90% commission. Work at an agency built for investors, by investors, and finally learn how to invest yourself. Addicted to Real Estate Agency. Call them now, 215-321-SELL. 215-321-SELL.
I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. Do you have a voicemail machine answering your business calls during the day? Oh, please tell me it's not true. I have an answering service for you that only costs $99 a month. We're real humans. That's right, we have live humans answering the phone in the name of your company and patching the calls to you for only $99 a month. And there are no contracts, so you can try it out anytime you like and cancel it whenever you like. Executech Suites, 215-942-7701. I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. I got a question for you. What do you get for $4.95 a month at Executech Suites? You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone number. You get the fax number. You get the internet. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you, whether you're in the office, in your car, or at home sleeping on a couch. You get the conference rooms. You get the mailboxes. You get the printer, the copier, the scanner. You get the janitorial service, the utilities, and free coffee. I know it's hard to believe that you could get all those things for $495 a month, but it's true. 67 Buck Road in Huntington Valley, Executech Suites. Give us a call, 215-942-7701, 215-942-7701.
Welcome back to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. So now we're going to talk about how to find real estate deals. You know, we've talked about using money. We've talked about a lot of different things in the business. But you've got to find a good real estate deal before you can ever really get started in this business. And one of the great ways to do that is by having a website. So, Larry, why don't you tell us a little bit about your efforts in getting people websites for finding houses?
Yeah, so one of the things that I found in this business, of course, is everyone is a beginner real estate investor. Obviously not everyone, but a lot of people are beginner real estate investors. They come to our seminars. Remember, we have the meetup groups, right? If you ever go to meetup.com, it's Addicted to Real Estate. You can go to the meetup groups and you can come see us and you can learn a lot about investing in real estate. And being there, I learned that a lot of people want to do this. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to start. Sometimes they start off with a business card, but a business card alone doesn't give you a lot of credibility. A business card with a website starts to build some credibility, and some track record starts to build some credibility. So most people who have websites or want to build websites for their real estate investing business, look, it could cost anywhere from $500, $1,000, even $2,000 to build a website. So again, as a beginner real estate investor, you may not have that kind of capital to create a website. And the websites that you would want to create, most importantly, would need a lead capture system. So basically, somebody goes to the website, they want to sell their property, they'd be able to put in their name, their address, the property address, contact information such as an email or a phone number, so that you can reach them and speak to them about their property. So again, it has to be that. And it also has to have some kind of autoresponder that says, hey, I've gotten your email. I'll be calling you shortly. So what I did, I sat back and I started to think about this, and there's a need out there for it, which is websites for these people. So what we have is a system called Easy Out Real Estate, and basically, if you're in front of your computer right now, if you get a chance to go home, if you're listening to this in the car, go to easyOutRealestate.com/sell now. And you'll actually see one of the sample websites. Actually, I wouldn't even say sample. It's actually a live website. It's owned by Steve Sibley, who's sitting here and loving the fact that you're going to be able to put your property in there, and he may actually want to buy your property. But at the same time, if you're thinking about getting a real estate, at the bottom of that website, you can actually see that it's been created. And the only thing that's really customized about that website is his picture, his name, his phone number, and that's about it. And the top banner, if you wanted to change the top banner. And it makes it very simple for people to create these websites. If you go to the bottom link, you'll actually see on the right side, it says get a website like this right now. And we're selling them for $50 a month. And it's a $50 setup fee. And I'll tell you, at that price, how could you go wrong? You get it, and again, we also did it with no cancellation. So, okay.
I think that the nice thing, Larry, about the way you set it up, which is really neat, is you could literally fill out a form. Same thing you would do if you checked out on a website to buy a product. If you check out on this website, you fill out a form, you hit submit, and it's up and running. I mean, it's exactly. It's that instant. And I think that if somebody says, "Wow, man, what a process," I have to develop a website, I have to make all these decisions. No, you fill out your contact information, you fill out your company name, you fill out your phone number, you hit send, submit, and all of a sudden the website's up and running and ready to roll, and you're getting the emails or your email address. So when you're sending out marketing, let's say you're sending out letters, you're sending out postcards, you can put the name of your website right on that and instantly have a way for that people to get a hold of you to submit their property.
Yeah, and there's text in there already, which makes it easy for you to create that website instantly. So the text is already there, the website setup is already there, the lead capture system is already there, the autoresponder system is already there, and we even have a system that has a back office in case you lost the email, that if the system sends you an email and says, hey, you got a new lead, and you lost that lead, you can log into the back office and it'll actually give you all the leads you've received, so you can actually see where they're coming from. Because you can post them on, oh, by the way, it also has an analytics system. So if you posted your website on Facebook or Twitter or some other system, or even if you had it where you're sending out postcards or letters that have your website on there, you can actually see you can actually track where people are going into your website, how they're finding it.
So if people are typing it in directly, it'll tell you that. Or if people are doing it through a Google search, or maybe you're paying for like an AdWords campaign or a Facebook ads campaign, you can see what website is generating the traffic to your website.
Right, and actually there's so many cool features that this has, and one of the things it has is also SEO. And SEO, come on, Jeremy, Inspector Gadget, what's SEO?
Search engine optimization.
Right, and what we can do is we can actually change the keywords in each person's website. So you can actually put, so in Phil's website, of course, he put in the words Phil Falcone. But since there's so many things that come up on Phil Falcone anyway.
There is a Phil Falcone in the New York area that's pretty famous too. So Phil's trying to trump him, in no pun intended, in the Google searches. So
I wish that guy wouldn't get in so much trouble, because it fills the internet. He's like number 780 on the billionaires list in the United States or in the world. And he keeps getting in trouble with the United States government. So
you're trying to supersede him.
Not me. I don't get in any trouble.
So anyway,
in billionaire ranking, I'm talking about.
Okay.
So these, and also, by the way, there's also you can also make money referring people on these websites too, and all that information is on in the back office of the website when you click it. And if you go to easyrealestate.com/sell now, you'll see Steve's, and you'll see all this information that we were talking about. And websites are really powerful, and again, it's credibility, it's lead capturing, etc. And I do a lot of marketing, and as we're going to discuss now, Phil and Jeremy, what kind of marketing are you guys doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of our favorite ways to market is that we have these I Buy Houses stores, which also serve as an Addicted to Real Estate agency. And we have 3 of them. One of them's in Montgomeryville, right on 309, across the street from Zotto's Diner. How many of you out there have seen our store in Montgomeryville? Raise your hand.
I was in Nicaragua. True story. I was in Nicaragua.
You saw one of our trucks in Nicaragua?
I was telling somebody what I do, and they say, "Oh, you're like that guy who has the sign that says I buy houses." I said, "Well, yeah, that's us."
All right, well, okay, if you guys are raising your hand, okay, we can't really see it, but I got a better idea. Next time you're driving by our store, I want you to honk your horn. But you can't just honk it in a normal way. We want to do Morse code, so we know that it's you listening. So what we want is dot, dash, dot, dot, dash. Okay?
What does that stand for?
It just means you go, long one, and then a couple quick ones, and a long one. Got it? You can do it.
What does that spell in Morse code?
Dot, dash, dot, dot. It means I buy houses. I looked it up. I got a buddy of mine.
Seems awful short for I buy houses.
Really?
Hey, don't question what I tell you. Just go with the flow.
It probably spells out Phil, knowing Phil.
Yeah, right.
Right.
The other thing that I think is helpful with these retail locations that we have is we have our vehicle wraps, and they cost a little bit of money, but at the same time, we don't keep it a secret what we do. We got we got 3 trucks wrapped. They say I buy houses on them, and people tell me all the time, I see you everywhere. So they're pretty neat. You have to have a phone number on there for people to call you.
Yeah, one time Jeremy was at a seminar at a hotel, and one of my wife's friends called her up and said that Phil's truck is at a hotel in the middle of the afternoon. And, so our marketing almost destroyed my marriage.
I had to corroborate that story there and make
I
sure.
had to get Jeremy. I go, it's not me. Call Jeremy. She's like, but you were gone all morning. I said, I was at the gym. I don't know what you're talking about. So Jeremy had to come in and save me. Another one of our stores is in downtown Hatboro. It's right at the corner of Byberry and York. I work there personally. If you're ever in the neighborhood and you see the lights are on, I drive a red Beamer out front, and come on in and talk to me.
We're getting that car wrapped, by the way.
Yes, it's going to say I buy houses pretty soon. I'm just waiting to get the wrap on it. So, but if you're ever in the area, come on right in. That's why we're having this show. We want to meet investors. We want to meet people and figure out ways that we can help each other in this business. So, what's another great way that we do marketing, Jeremy, to find real estate deals?
So that's kind of a shotgun approach. The difference between shotgun marketing and pinpoint accuracy, sniper marketing is the ability to direct your marketing efforts to specific people versus just a whole general population. So we're doing what we call shotgun marketing. We oftentimes get leads that nobody else knows about because they haven't put their house up for sale. A lot of people do this like with bandit signs, or they put signs on a telephone pole, things like that. A lot of people get in trouble with the associations or the townships and the city and stuff like that for doing that kind of marketing. So you got to check your sign laws. But we have our retail stores are kind of like billboards with free office space attached. Now, the opposite of that would be targeted marketing, where you're doing like direct mail campaigns. So direct mail is very targeted in that, let's say you're targeting old landlords, people that have been landlords for 20-some years or so, and you want to buy these old landlords' properties, or you're targeting non-owner occupied houses, which in Philadelphia is a great market. In Florida, it's not really the best thing to target because there's a lot of non-owner occupied properties. People have second homes and vacation homes. So you might, in Siesta Key, you might have half of that zip code is non-owner occupied. So that might not be targeted enough. People probates and foreclosures and divorces. There's all sorts of targeted marketing that people do that can generate leads for people that may be motivated or may have real estate to sell. And that's a lot of what we do. And like Larry was saying, if you send somebody a letter or a postcard, you have to have some sort of call to action, something for them to do once they get your marketing. And one of the things to do is go to your website, check out more about you, and fill it in their name and email address, and get maybe get a quote on what you would pay for their house.
A lot of times, Jeremy, I go to these real estate investment seminars, even the ones that we do, and people grab me and they say, tell me what you're doing. How are you getting all these leads? And it's all marketing. And they ask them, what are you doing? And it's always interesting how the beginner investor has one deal that he's thinking about doing, and he doesn't know if it's a good deal or a bad deal. Sometimes it's a good deal, sometimes. And so, well, what else are you working on? Well, nothing. Well, if you're working on nothing else, your real estate investing career is going to go really short. You need to have multiple deals. I mean, I said I was in Nicaragua last week. My phone rang 4 times. I answered the phone, and it was people wanting to sell houses because of marketing that I had sent them. And it is an investment, but in the end, it's going to make you so much more money.
And when you're in Nicaragua, the investment partially was taking those phone calls and being charged some outrageous.
You're right, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. You're right. But I knew it was important enough to take the phone call. You're right.
Well, in this business, realtors do the exact same thing.
That's right.
I mean, they don't go out and do repetitious marketing. I meet so many of them who tell me the same thing over and over again.
Well, farming a neighborhood is something that real estate agents often do, where they pick a certain neighborhood and say, I want to be the main guy listing in this neighborhood. So they just send out marketing to a neighborhood. And frankly, that's a great way for real estate investors. What better way to know the value of the house of somebody's calling you on is if it's in a neighborhood that you specifically targeted, and you know the house like the back of your, know the neighborhood house values like the back of your hand, and you constantly say, I'm looking to buy in this neighborhood, and people are seeing your marketing, and all of a sudden when it comes time, I often hear from people, I've never seen your postcards before, but all of a sudden I saw one. Right. And you've been sending them for years and years. And it's like, oh my gosh, this hit me at just the right time. Yeah, I've been sending to you for years, and you just noticed it because it's relevant.
And I find it hysterical when they call. They always go, okay, so tell me what your lowball price is on my house. And I'm like, whoa. This has to be a win-win. And as long as you handle that properly, and that's obviously good information.
Well, if you're buying real estate for long term, you don't. Financing sometimes is more important than price. And when you're just buying to resell, fix and flip, that kind of thing, really the only thing you have is price. So we get involved in a lot of creative acquisition strategies, and we'll talk about more of those later on the show, but on a subsequent show. But you really can do owner financing. You can take over people's existing financing, and there's other ways to buy real estate deals that are really leveraging financing that's already in place or creating new financing. That doesn't involve just price.
And one of the things we do with the agents in our agency is we teach them how to market like this. And you're going to get a lot more deals as an agent and also as a real estate investor when you learn how we market.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, the value that we can bring to you, whether you're an investor or a realtor. Okay, let's say you're an investor. First of all, we have these monthly meetings. Okay, they're available every month. Right now, we're holding them in Warminster, but we move them around all the time. We've had them in Allentown. We have them in New Jersey. We have them in downtown Philly, Salem. But right now, we're holding them in Warminster. And you can check us out at meetup.com and then just look for Addicted to Real Estate. Or you can go to addictedtorealestate.com and put your name and email address in there, and I will personally send you an invitation to every one of our meetings. So if you're an investor, come to the meetings, because all the time we talk about how to find the deals and how to fund them. And that's what we're talking about on today's show. Private money is how we fund them. Marketing is how we find them. And you need to have this drilled into your head until you learn this is the way this business is done. You're looking for deals all the time. Half of the time I'm looking for deals. The other half of the time I'm looking for the money to fund the deals. It's really a simple business. And let's say you're a realtor and you join our agency. Your realtors are certainly welcome to come to our meetings as well. But if you want to have a lot of access to us, if you think that some of the things we're talking about are interesting to you and could help you in your business, all you have to do is come hang your license with us. Join our office. We have one in Hatboro. We have one in Montgomeryville. We have one in Huntington Valley. Come on in, hang your license there, join us at Addicted to Real Estate, and you will have tons of access to us. You can call me personally to talk about joining the agency at 267-988-2000. And that gives you a great way to have access to the guys at Addicted to Real Estate. And maybe there has to be one little warning, though. I got to warn you that if you spend too much time with us, you may develop an addiction to real estate. So you have to be careful about that. If you want to become a sponsor to our show or be a guest on our show, you can give us a call at 267-988-2000. We're always looking for people we can partner with. Okay? I'm Phil Falcone, and I want to remind you to come to our next meeting, which you can find at meetup.com, Addicted to Real Estate. And Larry, you want to tell us anything in closing?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting everybody at the meetup group, and you'll actually see that we not only have voices for radio, but we have faces for TV. But I'll also tell you more about the agency when we get together,
yeah.
And
we even have a plan that we've concocted to help people get their license if they don't have it. Let's say you're a real estate investor, and if you wanted to get your license, we're scheming a little plan right now to pay for their license, right, Larry?
How do you like that, people? Did you hear that, people? You're thinking about getting a license? We'll pay for it for you.
Oh, we'll pay for the schooling. You have to actually pass the test.
That's right. That's the only. That's why
I hang around with him. He just keeps me in line, you know. And all they have to do is call 267-988-2000. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, guys. You've been listening to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. Thank you.